All right, so get ready because today we're going to be diving deep into something that's bound to get people talking. Human sexuality and relationships.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, a little bit. But, the source material for this deep dive
Hmm.
might raise some eyebrows. It's an online article, not exactly, peer-reviewed scientific research.
Right.
More like entertainment, really.
Hmm.
So we're going to be taking these sometimes pretty out there claims as a jumping off point to talk about the bigger picture of human sexuality, kind of sort through the fact and the fiction and, maybe learn something interesting along the way.
I love that approach. It's like using something kind of wacky as a springboard to have a real conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just jump right in. This article throws out some pretty bold statements like 8 out of 10 women love to be insulted by their partners during sex.
Whoa, okay, so right off the bat, that's definitely playing into a certain fantasy or stereotype.
For sure.
But it does raise some important questions about communication and consent in relationships, right? What one person finds erotic, another might find completely offensive.
Absolutely. And you can't just assume.
Exactly. So the key takeaway here, I think, is open and honest communication about desires and boundaries. That's absolutely crucial for a healthy and fulfilling sexual relationship.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's not about following a script or trying to guess what your partner wants, right?
Mhm.
It's about talking to each other
Right. Talking, figuring out what works for both of you.
together.
Yeah.
Okay, so another attention-grabbing claim from this article is women with big butts generally have small breasts, whereas women with big breasts have small butts.
Oh my gosh, I've definitely heard that one before.
Yeah.
It always sounded a little far-fetched to me,
Me too.
you know.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I think this claim is a classic example of confirmation bias. People tend to notice and remember the examples that fit their existing beliefs, even if those beliefs have no basis in reality.
So are you saying there's no actual connection between breast size and butt size?
No, not really. Body types are incredibly diverse. Like, the human body comes in so many shapes and sizes, and there's no scientific correlation between those two things.
It's interesting, though, how that claim, even if it's not true,
Yeah.
like you said, it really taps into societal beauty standards and this pressure to conform to certain ideals.
Right, exactly. It makes you think about how those unrealistic expectations, those ideas of what's considered attractive, how that can really mess with people's self-esteem.
Their relationships, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good reminder that we need to challenge those narrow definitions of beauty and really embrace the diversity of human bodies.
And experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next claim from the article is a little concerning, to say the least. Women who consistently give blowjobs are those who are unfaithful to their partners.
Oh, wow. That's not only baseless, but also incredibly harmful and judgmental.
Yeah, come on.
This statement, it perpetuates a dangerous stereotype that tries to link, a specific sexual act with infidelity. And it's so important to recognize and debunk these kinds of harmful narratives.
Absolutely. A person's sexual behavior, it's not a reflection of their character or their commitment to a relationship.
Exactly. It's just absurd to judge someone's faithfulness based on their sexual preferences.
Totally agree.
We really need to be mindful of the language we use and the assumptions we make about other people.
All right, let's move on to something that might be a little more curiosity-inducing. Having intercourse while standing up can help you last longer,
Okay, interesting.
while also making your woman climax faster.
So while certain positions might feel more intense or stimulating for some people, there's no scientific evidence to suggest that standing up specifically will have a huge impact on either premature ejaculation or a partner's ability to orgasm quickly.
So it's not as simple as just, switching positions.
Yeah. No, not really. These experiences, they're influenced by a lot of different factors, both physical and psychological.
Right. So if someone is, having concerns about premature ejaculation, it's important to talk to a healthcare professional, right?
Definitely.
And when it comes to achieving orgasm, communication and exploration and understanding your own body and your partner's, those are way more important than trying to find some magic position.
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to sex and pleasure.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of these attention-grabbing claims are more about sensationalism than reality.
Right, for sure. But there are some interesting points in this article sprinkled throughout that do touch on genuine aspects of, sexual preferences and behaviors.
Yeah, it mentions doggy style being a popular choice for a certain age group in England.
Oh, interesting.
Right. And it makes you think about how cultural and generational influences can shape, like, our perceptions of what's normal or desirable when it comes to sex.
It's so true. And while doggy style might be popular in one demographic, it doesn't mean it's universally favored. There's no single right way to experience pleasure.
And that actually leads perfectly into another point the article brings up about spooning being an effective way to stimulate the G-spot. Can you explain a little bit about what the G-spot is and whether there's any truth to that claim?
Sure. So the G spot is an erogenous zone located on the front wall of the vagina. And for some women, it can be a source of intense pleasure. And yeah, spooning can definitely provide access to the G spot for some women.
Okay, interesting. But like, it's not a guarantee for everyone,
You're
right?
right. It's important to remember that female anatomy varies, and what works for one person might not work for another. So once again, it comes down to individual preferences and experimentation.
Got it. Speaking of finding what feels good, the article mentions this concept of weak points and understanding your partner's preferences for stimulation.
Oh, weak points.
Yeah, it uses that term.
I think framing it in terms of weak points is a little misleading.
Right.
It's not about exploiting vulnerabilities. It's about understanding what your partner finds pleasurable and communicating your own desires as well. Open and honest conversations about what feels good, what doesn't, and what you'd like to try, those are essential for creating a fulfilling and satisfying sexual experience.
It's about turning those so-called weak points into strengths.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's about recognizing that pleasure isn't a one-size-fits-all experience. What one person finds exciting, another might find boring or even uncomfortable.
Right. So instead of focusing on weak points, maybe we should talk about the incredible diversity of what individuals actually find pleasurable.
Yes, exactly. Whether it's different positions, types of touch, or fantasies, the spectrum is vast.
Huge.
It's so important to move beyond generalizations and recognize that what's normal or exciting is entirely subjective, unique to each individual and couple. And that's what makes exploring human sexuality so fascinating. There's always something new to learn and discover. And it's that sense of discovery that that makes this whole deep dive so intriguing, Even with this kind of out there article, we're finding glimpses of real life practices and curiosities. Like it mentions using candles and vibrators.
Ooh, candles and vibrators. That's a combo.
Right.
I mean, I'm all for creativity in the bedroom, but candles near anything flammable.
Safety first.
Yeah, exactly. But it does speak to the fact that people, they use a variety of tools and objects to enhance their sexual experiences, right?
Absolutely. And while, like you said, safety should always be a top priority, incorporating toys and other elements into intimacy, it can be a fun and healthy way for individuals and couples to explore their desires and expand their repertoire of sensations.
For sure. Okay, so this article makes another pretty bold claim that mature women over 40 find it easier to attain orgasm than younger women under 40. What do you think? Is there any truth to that?
Well, it is true that, sexuality and our experiences, they can change throughout life. But attributing ease of orgasm solely to age, that's a little too simplistic, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Many factors influence a woman's ability to orgasm, including self-knowledge, body comfort, and dynamics of their relationship.
All things that can evolve over time.
Exactly, and often lead to greater satisfaction as we age.
So it's not necessarily about age itself, but more about experience and confidence and feeling comfortable in your own skin.
You got it.
And this ties into another interesting point that the article raises about the impact of age on sexual preferences.
Okay.
It suggests that men over 50 might experience changes in their desires and then mistakenly believe that, like, good sex is over for them.
That's a misconception I've heard before, and it's so important to address it. Sexuality is a lifelong journey. What we find pleasurable can, and often does, evolve as we age.
For sure. It's not like a finish line you cross.
Yeah, exactly. Physical changes, they're a natural part of aging, and they can sometimes lead to, shifts in desire or performance. But that doesn't mean the end of fulfilling sexual experiences.
Yeah.
It's about adapting, communicating with our partners, and maybe even exploring new avenues for intimacy and connection.
I like that. So the article even mentions a few specific positions, like the cougar position, which is basically woman on top,
Okay.
and the screw position, described as woman with legs raised.
Interesting names.
Right. So is there anything unique about these positions that might, contribute to greater satisfaction, like the article suggests.
What's intriguing about these descriptions, beyond the kind of sensationalized names, is the emphasis on the woman's control and potential for clitoral stimulation.
Okay.
Women on top positions, they often allow for more direct clitoral stimulation, which can be particularly pleasurable for many women.
So it's not really about the label attached to the position, but more about understanding the mechanics of pleasure and how different angles and movements can enhance sensation.
Exactly. Experimentation and communication are key. Discovering what works best for you and your partner, it often involves trying different things, being open to feedback, and having a sense of adventure.
Adventure in the bedroom, I like it.
Right.
Okay, so this article seems to have a bit of a fixation on what women find attractive.
Okay.
It claims that women on average are attracted to older men because it instinctively communicates to them a sense of experience and stability.
Hmm. That statement, it's a gross oversimplification of a very complex topic.
Okay.
While some women might be attracted to older men, attributing it solely to an instinctive desire for stability, that reinforces some pretty harmful stereotypes, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Partner choice is influenced by so many factors. Personal preferences, life experiences, cultural norms, to suggest it all boils down to a single instinct is just reductive and misleading.
It's so important to remember that generalizations about attraction and relationship dynamics, they often fail to capture the real complexity of human connection.
Absolutely. And this leads to another assertion from the article that caught my eye, the mention of women licking their lips as a subconscious sign of attraction.
Oh, okay. That one seems a little far-fetched to me. Like, are we really sending secret signals through lip licking?
Right. Can we really decode someone's intentions based on such subtle actions? While body language definitely plays a role in attraction, interpreting specific gestures as like universal signs of interest, that's often misleading. Attraction is this complex interplay of conscious and unconscious cues, and it's important to consider the broader context rather than fixating on isolated actions.
So we shouldn't read too much into a single lip lick.
Exactly. Attraction is a dynamic process that unfolds over time and involves a multitude of factors.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like trying to decipher attraction based on like isolated gestures is just a recipe for misinterpretation.
Right. It's way more productive to focus on building those genuine connections
Yeah.
through, open communication and shared experiences rather than trying to decode some secret language of attraction.
So this deep dive has definitely taken us down some unexpected paths. We started with this kind of sensationalized article and ended up having a pretty thought-provoking conversation about communication and consent and body image and, how sexuality can evolve throughout life.
It's amazing how even the most unconventional sources can spark these kinds of insightful discussions. By approaching this article with a critical eye, we were able to, debunk some myths, challenge some harmful stereotypes, and hopefully encourage a more open and informed approach to understanding human sexuality.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is the importance of critical thinking, especially when it comes to, information about sex and relationships. It's so easy to just accept what we read or hear without questioning it. But as we've seen today, not everything that's presented as fact actually holds up under scrutiny.
I completely agree. And it's not just about questioning the information itself, but also, thinking about the source, their agenda, any potential biases at play. When it comes to topics as personal and nuanced as sexuality, it's crucial to approach information with a discerning eye.
And to remember that personal anecdotes and popular beliefs, they don't always reflect the full spectrum of human experiences.
Exactly. What might be true for one person or one couple might not be true for another. That's why open communication and respect for individual differences and a willingness to learn and grow are so essential for healthy and fulfilling relationships.
This deep dive has definitely been a reminder that there's always more to learn and explore when it comes to human sexuality.
Always. It's a lifelong journey of discovery. And we encourage you to continue exploring with curiosity and open-mindedness and a commitment to building, healthy and fulfilling relationships.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. What surprised you most about the claims we explored today, and how does that connect to your own understanding of sexuality and relationships? We hope this conversation has sparked some new insights and maybe even encouraged you to have some open and honest conversations with your partner. Until next time, keep diving deep.